how to stop blowing your trading accounts, where I discuss not just some frivolous, airy fairy strategy, but giving you the real reasons in 5 exact ways of how you're blowing accounts still to this day as an experienced trader. This channel is for experienced trader because traders who are inexperienced or are beginners cannot even blow accounts. You only start to blow accounts once you become experienced and you learn enough to be able to blow an account. So you're in a realm where you know how to trade and you know how to make money, but you also know how to give it back. Once you learn how to make money, you can learn how to give it back, because as a beginner, you don't know how to make money. So you don't know how to give it back either, right? Once you gain the skill of learning to make money, you also gain the skill of how to give it back. So in this video, in this live video, I gave 5 reasons, 5 ways of how exactly to get rid of this. Not any strategy, not any frivolous thoughts, but actual, real, non-theoretical, real reasonings how to do this. So we're on point number 3. The last live cut out on the volume. So I'm going to continue point number 3 here. What I was talking about is one of point number 3 is not every trade can be married, which means that the moment that you get emotionally attached to a trade, you stop managing your risk and you start to manage your ego. Because what happens is, when you think that a trade deserves to be in it forever, you've already given your profits back at that point. It doesn't matter if you trade futures, options, forex, crypto, doesn't matter. When you decide that you're going to make the market do what you want it to do, that's the moment you've already given the money back. That's the moment you've gotten emotionally attached to being correct instead of taking your profit off the table. One of the biggest things I've had to do is giving myself the permission to not give money back, giving myself the permission to take all the profits off the table. Take all of it off the table. Don't feel like you need to get every single little itty bitty cent. You know that you can make more money by simply taking everything off the table every time. You're going to lose more money every single time long term when you let runners run, because letting a runner run, letting a trade run is the same exact thing psychologically as telling the market, you're going to go to this point and I need you to go to this point. I need you to go to da 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 and you need to go up there. And I'm not satisfied with you being right here. I'm not satisfied with my 100% profit. I need you to go to 150%. And that's the same time that you lose your money, which is why I'm a big believer in do not. Thank you for the subs, and I appreciate the likes for everyone who's in here. This is part 2 of the live I just did. You can watch that first live. It's posted on my YouTube channel. And this second live it got cut off because of the audio, but the second part is going to be on my channel right after we get done with this video. But when you let your runners run, you actually are saying, hey, I don't really care that you're the stock market. I'm forgetting where I am. I'm forgetting that this is the most volatile, most emotionally charged, crazy place to be as far as your risk to reward. So because I don't know where I am, because I'm not acknowledging where I am, because I'm not acknowledging the fact that you can do anything as a stock market, I'm going to tell you what to do. And I've never seen where that actually works out long term. What works out long term is a consistent behavior of taking all your profits off the table every single time. And if you go back and look in 10 minutes, you're like, whoa, it's still going, re-enter. That's the beauty of not over leveraging, because you always have money there as an opportunity to take opportunity. You always have opportunistic capital. to use to take opportunity off the table when you need to, which is another reason why you should not be full porting your account. Because when you full port, not only do you risk everything on one trade, not only do you put all your eggs in one basket, but what happens is you're marrying the trade, and when that trade goes against you, you can't get into another one. You've cut off all your opportunities. And let's say you lose that. Let's say you win after you full port. That's great. But even if there's another opportunity later in the day, you can't take it because you have to wait for your money to settle. But let's say you lose the money. Now you've cut your opportunities, not for tomorrow or the next day, but for probably the whole month. So you want to make sure that you're not doing that, because it's a totally unnecessary psychological thing that we do in trading that doesn't really need to exist. The next thing, and not every trade needs to be married, is holding to be right instead of holding and then exiting when you're profitable. One of the biggest things, if you ever work with me one-on-one, is you are going to be told by me that you need the habit of taking your profit off the table, because profitability starts with the word profit. If you never take your profit and you're always letting the market decide your profit by letting your runners run, and you're just holding trades frivolously, you never actually take control over your trades, you're never going to have control of your money, because you're always going to let the market do what it wants to do with your money. If I entered and I made $1,000, why would I leave you to look after the rest of my runners when I could have just taken all the profit off the table? You're the market. You're going to do whatever you want to do. So I'm not letting you be in charge of how much money I make. I'd rather have 100% of what I entered and exited on than risk my 100% to try to get 110 or 120% of what the market wants to do. Because at the end of the day, when you're not neutral, when you're not trading from a neutral point, you start trading like you don't know where you are. Do you understand that you're in the market? You're in the stock market. You're in the market. You're in the market. Can I say that again? You're in the stock market. Don't forget where you are. Don't forget where you are. You need to be grateful of every single profit you get. And so when you're in the beginning of your journey, it's so easy to be grateful, because you're like, oh my gosh, I finally learned something that can make me money. I learned something that makes money without me having to go anywhere. It makes money without me dealing with the recession. It makes money like forever. It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But then once you learn how to trade, you get kind of comfy. And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna start telling you what to do. I'm gonna start manipulating you to do what I want you to do. And when you get to that point, guess what happens? When you get to that point, that's when you start giving all your money back and when you start blowing accounts. It's like the more you learn, the closer to the experience side, the more experience you get in your journey, the more you're likely to give your profit back, which is insane. But once you start to see what I'm saying in this video, you're never going to be able to unsee it. So I highly suggest, if you're an experienced trader and you want to know the first two things that I talked about, watch the first part of the live on my channel and then come back to this one, and then you'll be able to actually understand what I'm saying. But I want you to watch this video live so you can ask me questions as I'm here, and then watch the other part later, and I'll answer your questions in the comments if you need. So I was talking to someone in the comments of the last live, and I was saying that it's so important that if you're not supposed to be trading and your gut is telling you do not risk what you've already done, do not like put on the line everything that you've already made in progress, you have to literally put roadblocks in the way. You can't just say, oh, I'm not supposed to be trading, so I'm just not going to. Okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep and wake up and hope that I don't trade. We've all done it. We've all done that. We've all done it to where we know we're not supposed to. We know we're not supposed to be taking anything, We're experienced. We told ourselves, our inner gut, our inner instinctiveness, our instincts are telling us do not risk anything. Okay? So when it says, when your internal state says, don't trade, don't do it, you have to intentionally say, you know what? I know that if I wake up in the morning and I just repeat that in my head, oh, don't trade, don't trade, don't trade, don't trade, don't trade. I'm going to grab my laptop and I'm going to be in a trade before I know it. I know it takes 30 seconds to get into a trade. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the app off my computer. I'm going to delete the app off my phone. I'm going to get out of my house. I'm going to leave my phone at home, maybe. I'm going to go hang out with XYZ. I'm going to go ask my friends that, like, if I know I'm not supposed to trade on Friday, I'm going to go and ask my friend, hey, I want to hang out all day Friday. I'm gonna come get you. We're gonna go out. We're gonna have fun, and we're gonna da da da. They don't have to know why, but you need to be so intentful. And this is something I learned the hard way because I would literally say, okay, I've done really really great this month. I don't want to trade anymore. I've exceeded how much I was supposed to make. So I am going to not trade the next day, sitting out for good reasons as a profitable experienced trader, and then wake up the next morning, be in a trade before I know it. Because traders don't like to stay out of the game. What do you mean? We don't we don't stay out. This is what we live and breathe. This is what we do. This is all we want to do. This is all if you're watching this channel, you probably are just like me. You eat, breathe, sleep, sweat, look, trading. That's all you do. That's who you are. That's all we do. So if you're a person that eats, sleeps, and breathes trading, what makes you think you're gonna wake up and follow some frivolous rule in your head that you're not gonna trade the next day? So you have to literally intentionally make sure that you put things in place so that you don't trade. Someone says, um, it's always refreshing to see you deep dive on these topics. I really, really super appreciate that. These topics are just a root of or a branch from the root of the stuff that I dealt with as an experienced trader. I was like, I know how to trade. Why am I losing? And then I figured out I'm losing because I know how to trade. And I was like, there's way too many people. There's probably 100,000 people right now dealing with this just in my city. So I need to start making content about this. So I really appreciate that. I really, really, really appreciate you saying that. And so yes, if you wanted to stay out of the markets before and you have not been able to, I encourage you that the next time you put some real roadblocks, real roadblocks in the way, real. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter who you have to hit up. It doesn't matter who you have to talk to. It doesn't matter who you need to get out the house, get away from the charts, and go do something. Like, even if the night before you need to go and do something, even if the night before you need to go and go to your friend's house, like, it's that. As a person, I'm talking so deeply from a person who eats, lives, and breathes trading for a living. It's not easy to not trade. That's what we love doing. So I had to intentionally say, wow, like, I can't just tell myself I'm not going to trade. I have to literally go and do things so drastically and leave my phone at home and da 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 da. And eventually it'll get easier for me to just be like, okay, I'm just not gonna. But at least right now in my journey, I'm like, no, this is what I love. Yes, it seems like a deeper dive into trading. You started realizing that it's mainly psychology. The hardest part is not necessarily strategy or strategies. Yeah, like I 1,000% agree with that. It's strategies don't matter. And for the first few months of my journey, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna switch strategies. I'm just gonna da da da. I'm just gonna, and I realized, like, before I was even experienced, I realized that jumping strategies doesn't do anything. You have to focus on one thing, learn one pattern, learn one instrument. Like start somewhere, right? Just learning something. So I guess it was a blessing that in the beginning, I never really knew. It's like I would say I always knew that only focusing on one thing would be the best. So it was never the strategies problem. It was never like indicators. It was never chart patterns. Especially as an experienced trader, you don't need to learn no candle patterns again. You don't need to go back and learn supply and demand and support resistance. You know that stuff like the back of your hand. You know how to trade. You know how to make money. The problem is blowing accounts and not taking out the profit you've already made. That's the problem. And so, um, yeah, happy Valentine's Day to everybody. I can't believe it's Valentine's Day already. It's insane. So let's get into point number 4 of why you're still blowing accounts. Okay. And as you guys are watching this video, make sure to send it to someone who is also a trader. Y'all can watch it together. Or make sure to comment your questions as I give this next point, that you trade the same in profit that you do in drawdown. This one is so big, is that you act like how you act when you're in green is the same person who you'll act like when your account is blown. Now, for some odd reason, we think that our nervous system and our bodies can swing one way and not the other. Everything is polar, everything has its opposite, and what was I about to say? Everything has a polar opposite. So however you are in your profits is the same person you're going to be in your drawdowns. It doesn't matter what you try to do. And that is why how you do one thing is how you do everything. It's because you can't control what you do on either side of it. It's going to manifest the same but opposite way. So if, yes, I am back, I realized that the sound check wasn't sound checking, and I appreciate you for letting me know that. So I went ahead and started a new live. So now we're just on the 4th point, which is you trade the same profit. I did finish answering your question in the beginning of this video, but right now I'm talking about you trade the same in profit as in drawdown. So when you think that you're smarter than the 6,000-year-old human nervous system, that's when you start messing up. Don't outsmart something that works, and don't outsmart something that you can't outsmart. What we need to do is learn to work with it. So if I know I cannot act one way in profit and act a different way in drawdown, I'm going to be the same person regardless. My best interest is to be as neutral as possible. That's why I talk about the neutrality, right? And the first point I wrote down is that when you're sloppy, when you're trading in the green, it becomes recklessness when you're in the red. So when you're sloppy and you're trading, you can still win. I've done it. It's not that hard. It's calls puts. It's like 50-50 chance, okay? Especially with scalping. It's like 50-50 chance, literally. When you're sloppy in the green, you can make money. But when you're sloppy in the red, that always leads to a blown account. So is the problem really being sloppy and reckless in the red, or is it that you allow yourself to be sloppy in the green? What if we just stop being sloppy all the way around? And how about we become neutral when we're trading green and neutral when we're trading red, so that we're just neutral in general? So overconfidence is the direct polar opposite of revenge. When you're revenge trading, that's the same thing as trading because you're overconfident. Same thing. So when you're overconfident, it's because you won 3 or 4 trades in a row. You're very profitable on the month. You're about to finish the month very, very profitable, right? Revenge trading is when you're already really, really red and you don't want to be red anymore and you're desperate to get back to green. It's literally the polar opposite of each other. It's the same exact thing. So if you cannot trade when you're overconfident, guess what? You automatically eliminate trading, revenge trading, because they're the same thing. So if you eliminate one, you eliminate the other as a byproduct because they're polar opposites. If you do not trade overconfident, you'll never revenge trade. I don't revenge trade anymore. And I can say that because I don't trade when I'm overconfident. And someone said, I had my first red day since January about a week ago. So you are green all the way up in January up until like February. I don't remember. February, first week of February. And it started to get scary for sure. Like when you have a ton of green days and you're super, super profitable, the next stage, when you don't take that break and you don't take a pause and you don't check yourself, is red. And red is fine. Like, one of the key things about being a beginner is you learn that you're never going to get rid of losses. But one loss does not mean blown account. Those two things are not synonymous. Like, having a red day is normal drawdown. Having a red trade is normal. Now, turning that red day into 3 red days, not normal. Turning that 1 red trade into 10 red trades, not normal. Turning that 1 red trade into a blown account, not normal. So there's a difference. And when you download the guide that's in the description box that teaches how, like, exactly the steps to go through that you can follow through and literally repeat it over and over and over, week after week after week after week, and you start to see your blown accounts disappear, you start to see your over trading disappear, you start to see your overconfidence disappear, you start to see profitability become a real thing, then that is when you actually understand that you can only really make money when you're neutral. I learned that the hard way. But yeah, like, your red days really are just what they are. They're red days. But when you're neutral, you never see a red day as, whoa, I've got to do XYZ. You know, one of the biggest things for me is that when I take a loss, my brain goes into, oh, okay, nothing gets to change. I keep my same strategy. I keep my same instrument. I keep my same market structure. I keep my same everything. And my one thing that I do is try to be neutral. I don't try. I get back neutral here. So I don't change anything besides my neutrality. I used to change everything. I used to, like, oh, I made red. I got to figure out how to get back green. Oh, I made I got to, like, fixing stuff. Fixing charts. Oh, I got to change the colors of my candlesticks, like, going crazy. But once I really realized, oh, when you take a loss, all you need to do is make sure you're neutral. When you take a win, all you need to do is make sure you're neutral. Like, regardless of what happens, neutral. Like, that's the only thing I think about now. So I wake up in the morning, I'm like, am I neutral? If I'm not neutral, I find a way to either get away from the charts or I find a way to get back neutral. If I can't get back neutral, I find a way to get off the charts. Like, it's very, very simple for me now. And this was the energy I had to be in to be able to create that free guide that's in my description box right now, because there was no possible way I was going to be able to be profitable not neutral. Like, there's no way. It's like, I don't see how that could have happened. So when I take a loss, I'm like, am I neutral? Like, go back neutral. If I take a win, I go back neutral. Like, if I'm already neutral, I maintain the neutral. Like, that's all I ever do now. So the next thing with you trade the same in profit and drawdown is that your habits don't actually change at all because you're the same person. So the same person who's going to make a drawdown is the same person who's going to make a win. The same person who's going to blow an account is the same person who's going to make a lot of money. Have you ever noticed, like, that when you make a lot of money, you normally have a losing day of the exact same loss? Like, let's say your normal is making $400 a day and you all of a sudden make $800 a day. You're going to have a day where you lose exactly that same amount. I see that all the time. It's like a pattern, and it's because you trade the same in every single way. So the day that you make a whole bunch, you're going to have a day where you lose that exact same amount or very, 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 very similar down to the dollar. And it's not because you're crazy or you're weird. It's because your habits don't change. So whatever made you win that much is what's going to make you lose that much, which is why I do not promote holding your runners, letting your runners run, because when you let your runners run, guess what? You're going to be in a losing trade and hold it until 4 p.m. Like, it just doesn't work. Pick a strategy, stick to it. Don't go outside of that by letting your runners run. Unless your entire strategy is only trading runners, then that's a totally different topic. And the last thing is, if you can't protect your green, you're never going to survive in the red. Because if you cannot protect your money when you make it, guess what happens? You're probably going to lose it. And then when you lose it, you don't have enough margin or space to make losses. So this is one of the reasons why when I first started teaching my students, I would tell them, hey, like at least 4,000 in an individual account is good. Now, I advise them a little bit more differently now based on their personal finance and individualistic stories. But what I really was trying to get at is that if you trade with a large amount of money, you give yourself enough space to have volatile up and downs, but still leave extremely profitable. Because you have to be able to survive the red. If you're only trading with $100 and you make 20, lose 20, make 20, lose 30, like now you can't do nothing at all. You can trade with $100, but how much can you actually make if you can never weather those ups and downs? And so if it really, really, really came down to it, it's never really about stabilizing your losses. I lose money when I try to stabilize my losses. Your losses cannot be stabilized in a volatile environment, period. Doesn't make sense. Can't do it. You can't always try to lose $20, always trying to lose $100. You can't always try to lose that when it's never moving the same. Doesn't make sense. You can't do it. But when you stabilize yourself by having enough money and staying neutral, that's really where the profitability is coming for me specifically. Said I need to widen my stop losses. I'm a scalper in the house. Me too. Though, so it works more time than not with a tight stop, right? We're the lucky ones, right? Where we can get in, get out, stop very, very tight works for us. For most other type of traders who are holding for hour to a day to beyond, you have to have a very wide stop loss. It can be frustrating when getting stopped out and it goes my way a few seconds later. Yeah, exactly. There's very, very thin. It's a very thin line between I'm going to take this profit at this specific point and having a certain stop loss. One of the things that's helped me so much, you're not asking for advice. I'm just saying this for anyone who's going to watch the video, the thousands of people who are going to watch this video as this is on my channel later, is the one thing I did as a scalper is always take my profit off the table. Because in scalping, unfortunately, we do not get the benefit of letting things play out in our favor. We don't get it. We don't get the benefit of that. We, unfortunately, don't get to sit around and wait for another 2-3 hours and hope that it comes back. It's probably not going to come back to us. So sometimes it does, sometimes it will. But I started taking all my profit off the table and I make so much more money. Because what it does is it says waiting for a certain price point just never is something I'm willing to do. I'm not willing to let any profit go that I've already made. Once my profit is deeply in the green, gotta go. Not doing it. I'd be in and out 9% of the time under 15 seconds. Yeah. Technically I would consider that the same thing as me, like a micro scalper. Like someone that's entering in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Oh, it doesn't matter how many, I don't know how many trades you take a day, but just in and out, in and out, in and out on normally one candle. Normally on one 5-minute or one 15-minute candle is like what you're watching and taking profit on. And one of the biggest things is just taking that profit off the table, because when you trade a strategy that allows you to let trades sit, you can let them sit. You can let them play out. But when you're a scalper, you have to take what you can get. And I know that it sounds bad when I even say it, but that's just where my money is. My money is in exactly this. This is how I trade. This is the strategy I give to my one-on-one high-level traders that also scalp. You know how to recharge because you're an experienced trader. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to read the market and you're going to pick a direction. Yeah, with my personality, I'm not a person who's comfortable sitting in drawdown. Yep, me either. Can't do it. Like I will like if I'm telling myself I can do it, that's me. That's my brain. I'm like my brain is clouded for some reason. Now you think you're just Incredible Hulk and you're Superwoman and you can do whatever. No, you've never been comfortable with that. So you have to trade where your neutrality is. Where are you the most competent? For me, that's what in and out. I don't want to sit in there all day. I don't want to do it. My personality is not made for that. So I just don't do it. So now I make more money trading where my competence is at. But this is what I tell my students. You're a scalper. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick a direction. You're going to read the market, you're going to analyze the market, and you're going to pick a direction. You see it going up, you see it going down. All right? You pick one. Where do you see price going next? And then what you're going to do is based on the average true range of whatever ticker, you're going to mark out some exits. So for instance, QQQ, I would give it a $1 exit. I would mark a $1 exit, a two, like away from where price currently is, or my entry. Right? Let's say we're currently 60 cents away from my entry. So from my entry, I'm going to mark based on ATR, normally $1, $2, $3, $4, right? And obviously, if I think it's going to go up, I do it going up as well. Now, the reason why I do it based on the average true range, which is literally an indicator. If you have TradingView, you can add ATR, which is average true range. Based on whatever time frame you're on, it's going to give you average true range. It's going to say, when you're on the 1 hour chart, it's going to say every 1 hour candle, we normally move this much cents. You don't have to go and calculate it yourself. Just go look at the ATR. And then you can look at the 5 minute and it's going to say, hey, we normally move this much. So based on how much you trade, based on what you trade, right? So if you're a scalper, you're normally trading, getting in and out on a 5 minute or 15-minute candle. That's even a lot for a scalper, right? It's like a long scalp. But I'm saying like you might watch a 15-minute candle form, get in and get out while it's forming, and like within a 5 or 15-minute candle. In like watch in out all on the same candle. What you're gonna do is you're not going to mark your key levels, or you're not going to exit based on those key levels. You're just going to let those key levels serve as a guide. So for me, let's say it's currently at, I think we're at we're back in the 500. So let's say we're 599 right now on QQQ, right? And I think it's going to break below. I already set targets for $1, $2, $3, $4 for its push. Because that's based on my ATR. I know it's probably going to move $1, could move 2. If it moves a lot, it might move 3. And my max is probably going to move 4. The biggest that is probably going to move in one 15-minute candle is 5. That's when my scalper turns into a little bit more than a scalp. Turns my micro scalp into like a real scalp. But honestly, anything that's under a 15-minute candle, if you're like in and out under 10 minutes, that's a scalp, bro. That's a scalp. But you're not going to let those key levels serve as permanent for you. You're going to get out before it even hits one of the things that you can do. So you can do your key levels, but you can also just exit when it gets close to or slightly surpasses one that you're okay with. And if it keeps going, you can re-enter, remark those same $1 to $4 marks and get out. So it's never about, hey, I want price to go to this specific level. It's about, I know based on my ATR, it could move $1, $2, $3, $4, and I'm willing to mark those out as a guideline, but I'm not trading based on it moving a certain price. I'm trading based on volatility, because as a scalper, that's how we really make our money. If a trade moves $5 in 30 seconds, we make a lot more money than if it moves $5 over 2 days. We make money off of how fast it moves. So I'm not concerned with if it comes to my levels or not. I'm concerned with, did we just have our volatility? And I need to get out after that volatility occurs. So that's literally what I tell them. Um, that leave your runners doesn't work for me. Only tried it from other folks. It doesn't fit as a scalper. It literally does not fit. It does not fit. You can't do it. Doesn't work. Yeah, I guess you can move your stop loss to break even. However, like you said, just give me my money and I'll get out. Yeah, like, and it's the thing, like, if you're trading and you're not full porting your account, you're always gonna have money left over. So it's like I can get in, make money, get out. Get in, get out. Get in, get out. Make 4 wins. And it's only because I had money left over. Because I'm not throwing everything into one trade. Now you can throw everything into one trade if you want to. It's your money, do what you want to do. But like if you're fully convicted on this one move and you just want to make this one move, great. But what happens is you're not only risking everything for that day, you're risking everything for that month probably, because then you're not going to have any money if you lose it all. If you win, great. But it's still reinforcing that habit of like, hey, I'm going to throw everything in. And at some point, market is going to charge you tuition for wanting it to do what you want it to do. When you're full porting, you're basically saying, hey, I'm convicted that you're going to do this and you're going to do it because I said you're going to do it. And it doesn't matter how much conviction you have, the market is going to literally humble you whenever it feels like at some point it's going to humble you. And so when market humbles me, I want it to humble me the same way I trade everything. I don't want you to catch me on my bad day. I don't want you to catch me when I'm full porting, and especially because, again, neutrality. When you're full porting and you're using all your money, your brain says, I gotta make sure to get in and get out. You're now clouding your mind and you can't even judge to get in or get out at the right time. You're probably gonna miss your exit anyways, based on how you entered the trade. You entered it based on risking everything. So when you risk everything, now your brain is like, actually, I'm not even thinking about the exit no more. I don't even know when to enter and exit. Now you saw your trade go up 40%, and now you're like, oh dang, should I wait till 60? And now you're back at negative 60%, and now you're out of everything. So I don't want it to catch me on my bad day. I don't want it to catch me. I don't want the market to catch me when I'm doing too much. I want every single trading day to be the exact same. And I want to be as consistent as I possibly can, because it just don't care. And if I know the market don't care, then why would I try to enter acting like it's going to care about me? It's not. Second guessing myself, watching it go my anticipated way without entering hurts more than taking a small loss. My way without entering and without the small loss. That's why I feel like it's 95% psychological. I'd be like, yeah, I so agree with that. Like, it is so psychological until it becomes neutrality. Like, neutrality is the only psychology thing you should be thinking about. Not you, but I'm saying like in general when I am speaking on my channel. Like, I was going from psychology, and it was like analysis paralysis, I guess is what they call it. Like, because let's think about it. If you're in a trade and you're doing it based on psychology, your brain is like, well, if I get out, that means I'm giving up on the trade. I didn't even let it play out. And then your brain is like, oh, well, if I stay in, I'm risking everything. And then you're like, oh, but if I take this trade right now, then I don't know if this is the best time. I should wait a little bit more to see if there's something else coming along. And they like, there's too many like right, wrong ways to trade. So I had to stop doing that, because then I'm not managing my trade. I'm like in my head and I'm missing the exit whole time, losing money. Like, no, 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 no. So what I do instead is I say, you know what? I know that there's so much I could be thinking about, but all I'm thinking about right now is, am I neutral or not? That's what I think about. And then like I said, pick my direction, draw out some key levels, don't use my key levels as anything but guides, and I take my money off the table every single time. And that has made me so much money. And so the next thing I want to talk about is that you don't lose accounts, you actually give them away, because your blown accounts are not accidents. They're very, very slow leaks that turn into, or that actually turn into emotional decisions. So, like I said in the beginning of the past video, when you blow accounts, it's not anything, like, you're not different than any other trader. You're not different than me or anybody else. Like, there's so many different things that is happening as a pattern. It's always a pattern. So the next time you have a blown account, I don't want you to be upset at the account. I don't want you to be upset at yourself. I want you to say there's so many things that happened that I don't really recognize what happened, but something happened for the last few days or last week that I was ignoring, that I was not neutral about. I didn't really understand. And this blown account is the manifestation of all the things that happened, all the sequence of things that happened prior. And I gave an example in my last live. This is part 2. In part 1, I gave an example of a car accident. If you're a drunk driver and you total your car, you could be upset at the totaled car and that you ended up in jail. But if you think about it, was it really that? Or was it the fact that you decided to drunk drive? You decided to go out when you say you weren't going to, decide to drink when you know you weren't supposed to, decided to not get someone to designate drive you, decided to still not call an Uber, and decided to get on the road. You made a lot of decisions. And it turned into a totaled car and you going to jail. But it didn't start with that. And just because you say, oh, I don't want to go to jail, oh, I don't want to drunk drive, that doesn't matter. What you say doesn't matter. It's what you do. It's your decisions. So it's a sequence of decisions, and the blow up is what happens. So you could say, I don't want to blow accounts. I don't like losing money. I don't want to blow my account. You can say whatever you want to say. It doesn't matter. But if you're still doing all the things I said in this video, then you're going to still manifest a blown account no matter how much you don't want to. And so I have a video that's coming out in March. It is called the 10 red flags that you're going to blow your account. Now, in that video, it's going to talk about probably the top 10, it's not probably, it is the top 10 things that I hear from my students, hear from people who have gotten the guide that's linked in the description box of this video, and that also watch my channel, and people who DM me, people who, talk to me about my content, is that there are things that happen that you're just not understanding, like that you're just not realizing are the sequence, like that you're not realizing are causing the blown account. So you still think I'm blowing the account because my strategy. And I'm like, no, bro. You're blowing your account because you're not neutral, because you hype yourself up every time you win, because you talk bad about yourself every time you lose, because of all these different reasons. So that video is going to heavily explain it. By the time that a lot of people watch this video, that video will be up, and I highly suggest you watch it. I already have the thumbnail for it. It's already scheduled out to post in March. But it's going to be a red flags video, and that video is just like amazing. If you can identify yourself with 3 or 4 of the things in that video and work on them in the action steps I give you in the video, it's gonna be a game changer. You came across my page, you came across my algo a couple weeks ago. I instantly subbed after watching the stream. I love to see us tapped into this business. Just saying, all right, almost ended the live clicking on stuff, but I really appreciate that. I super appreciate that. And what I appreciate more is you watching the live. Like, I appreciate like me being able to be here and give the content, but you being here and giving your comments and talking about your experience and you being honest about what's happening in your trading and making this a conversation between 2 people is amazing. So I really appreciate you for being here and being tapped in and being locked in to the page. If there's anything that you ever need, definitely DM me on my Instagram or my Facebook account, or in my comment section if you have any questions about any of my videos. Yeah, like this is a place for us to have a conversation, us to be on equal playing ground. This is not me teaching y'all XYZ. This is like lived experience that I just so happen to be putting out because Blowing accounts is expensive, but making money is so much more fun. So I was like, I got to get on here and talk about this stuff. Um, but there's like those 10 things in that video are the sequence, are probably part of the sequence of all the things you're doing wrong. So definitely watch that video, guys. And then when you break your rules really quietly, you bend your rules really quietly, you justify bad behavior, you let one blown trade turn into a blown account, like those things don't have to happen anymore. My personal daily affirmation has really helped me when I first get up in trading and just in general, for sure. You know, I really, really love that you said that. And I wonder if you're attracted to the content, like your algo, because we're both scalpers. I wonder if that's what that is. But daily affirmations are great. And one of the things I love so much is, what is it called? It's like subconscious meditation. I love that. It's so great. Like, if you want to really do this stuff that I talk about on a deep level, doing meditations in theta state is game changer. Game changer. Turns you into a totally different person. And changes your trading results overnight. Like, you would think, well, how can I go from losing so much money to making so much money that next exact month? That's how I did it. It's great. It's amazing. So if you want to, I would definitely say share some of those daily affirmations, because those are really going to help other people. I think that these comments will be live when this posts, I think, maybe. I don't actually know if it'll be live or not, but if it's not, I'll put them in the regular comments, because I would definitely love for you to share it with other people. It's so incredible that we have a community of people that want to share and help other people. Like, it's just amazing. Yeah, your energy and your knowledge and wisdom is a whole vibe. I really appreciate you. Like, this is great. This is amazing. And yeah, you said like when you first get up for trading and just in general. And one of the reasons that the subconscious stuff works is because it's like it's done when you're in that sleepy state, like right before you go to sleep, or right before you go to sleep and right when you wake up. It's like subconscious reprogramming. You know, it's amazing. So if is there, I want to do a Q&A session right now for everyone who's watching. If there's any particular questions you might have, I'm going to give you a few minutes to be able to type them out. And if not, then I have some Q&A that I would answer, that I have from people who are recently doing the guide that I have in the description box. I want to just talk about those live. But yeah, go ahead and drop some questions and I'm going to answer them. I haven't done a live. I'm going to let you drop them right now. But I haven't done a live in a long time. It's maybe been about a month or maybe 2. And the reason why is because I really want to focus on my main channel videos, but I feel like that was a really great decision because so many people have been really actually helped by my private training and by the guide that helps you become a neutral trader. I was able to put so much more effort and depth because I wasn't making, like when I was doing live trading videos, I wasn't able to do channel videos. And so, because I just didn't have time to do both. And so I was like, I'm gonna take a break from the live videos and focus on my main channel videos. And while I'm waiting for y'all to type in some questions in the comments about trading, I really was able to focus so deeply into getting everything that I want y'all to know about neutrality and to know about not blowing accounts, and that you're literally only blowing accounts because you know how to trade. Like, people who don't know how to trade don't know how to blow an account. The only reason you know how to blow an account is because you know how to make money. You don't know how to blow an account if you don't know how to make it. Can't blow an account if you don't know how to make money. So what often I don't think people really realize, like, if you're losing money, you're blowing accounts, you're already experienced. That's like the best part. It's like, okay, well, if I can just get over the blown account part, then I just get to keep the money I already know how to make. That's where we are right now. So I'm not sure if you guys have any questions. It looks like we're all good on that. So the last thing I want to say is that most people don't blow accounts because they don't know how to trade. I've said that 1,000 times between this video and the last video, because you know how to trade. You're experienced. You know how to read market structure. You know how to read a chart. You know how to trade. Point blank period. You know how to make money. If I said, hey, go make a profitable trade right now, it would be like no brainer. You'd be like, duh, like figure out up or down and enter. Like, it's crazy. No, like you know how to do that, right? But you're blowing accounts because of who you're being is not neutral. There are just things that you don't understand, that you don't see as leading to blown accounts that are actually blowing your accounts. And that's what I talked about all in this video. In the last video, those 5 things. The first video had the first 2.5, and then I finished off the third point and the other 2 in this video. So even if you never change your strategy, you're going to change your results. Period. You don't have to change your strategy. Congratulations, you already know how to trade. You don't need to change anything else besides your internal state. So when you are making when you make a red trade, your only thing is go back neutral. When you're making a good trade, your only thing is go back neutral. When you make bad trades, go back neutral. When you make good trades, go back neutral. When you have a profitable month, figure out how to go back neutral. And when you're going back neutral, it's either not trading or going back neutral. And if you can't figure out how to get back neutral and you're just gonna sit out, you just sit out. That's the name of the game. You make so much more money by sitting out and taking all your money off the table when you can, and staying out when you can't. Stay neutral. So if this video hit you, I definitely want you to watch the video on the 10 red flags. It's coming up. And then I also have the video coming right after it. Like the video that'll be posted right after it is the neutrality video. 5 things to become a neutral trader. Literally gives it bop, 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 bop. There's nothing that I have to hide or nothing that I have to sell. There's nothing that I have to like gatekeep, because like your $10,000 month does not hinder my $10,000 month. Your $20,000 month does not hinder my $20,000 month. So like, just, we can all use the same system. I figured it out and I come in to share it. There's nothing that I'm actually trying to hide. And so yeah, those 2 videos are going to go really deep into the actual mechanics behind consistency. It's going to shape who you are as a trader. And again, you do not need to be perfect to be profitable, because you already know how to trade. So I'll see you guys in my next video. I appreciate y'all so much for being here. Love you so much. And I'll see you guys on my channel. Have a great rest of your Valentine's Day. And I'll see you guys in the next channel video. Bye. Much love. Yes.